What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Hoof Hearted Brewing, and they're out of Marengo, Ohio, and this is their Boot Quench. So this is a bourbon barrel aged double mash Imperial Stout conditioned on 10 pounds of Madagascar vanilla. Comes in at 14% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, I believe this can is approximately 8 months old, and I picked this one up at I was gonna say Halftime Beverage. Totally not though. I picked this one up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio. So shout out to them. Anytime I'm in Ohio and close to Cleveland, when I come down from Buffalo, I always check out Red Wine and Brew. Fantastic store. They have a bunch of locations in and around the Cleveland area. So yeah, they had this. I think it was the last can on the shelf. Don't know if it was the last can they had it, period. But I picked this one up in early February of this year. And the reason I picked it up is because I've had a lot of Hoof Hearted beers. Most of them had been hop forward. I reviewed, I think, a pastry stout a couple years back. And I think I had another like non-hop forward beer from them, but I've never had a barrel aged beer from them. Certainly not one that is a double mash Imperial Stout that is conditioned on 10 pounds of Madagascar vanilla and then aged in bourbon barrels. So I had to pick this one up. And the reason why I said I believe this is 8 months old, says vintage 2024 on the can, does not have a can date. I checked their Instagram. Looks like they released this one for a Dragon Saddle Day back in September of last year. So, you know, probably like mid-September. I'm reviewing this one in mid-May. Totally makes sense. All right, so I shouldn't want to go everywhere because I know it's going to be thick, double mash, the whole nine. And of course, as I open it up, it fucking went everywhere. Jesus. That's why I hate opening up overfills, especially when I'm reviewing it. You know, off camera, who cares? But here, oh my God, it's instantly sticking to the fucking table. That's wild. All right, so probably going to spill this everywhere because it does look like an overfill, and I don't know how to pour. So we're going to see what's going on here, but go a little bit more aggressive here so I get a decent head. So yeah, this I'm hoping is delicious. I'm hoping 8 months old that it has, you know, ooh, so, you know, it's 14% and I poured it aggressive just so I could get a head. Look at that head. My friends, that looks fucking gnarly. Two-tone color too. I don't know if you guys see the two tones, but look, it's like a little bit of a, like a lighter shade up here, like maybe like a half finger, and then down it's darker. That's wild. And it's like marshmallow. It's not going anywhere. Look at that fucking thing. That looks gnarly in the glass. Wow, that looks wild. So, yeah, so pitch black. The head is a dark brown, two-tone. It's more like a light brown and a dark brown. Looks super creamy, sticking to the sides of the glass. You can probably see the legs on there up here as well. I don't know. Looks like you should be able to see them, but yeah, this is gnarly. Looks exactly how I was hoping a 14% bourbon barrel aged vanilla Imperial Stout should look. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. That bourbon is intense. It's sweet, peppery bourbon, but it's like a sweet, like very sweet bourbon. I mean, it could be the vanilla in there playing a role. Just the fact that it's 14% big Imperial Stout, but it's sweet bourbon. Tons of sweet dark chocolate, rich and decadent, fudgy dark chocolate. Vanilla is clearly there. Like, it's giving me marshmallow vibes in the nose. If you had some graham cracker in here, you'd have s'mores, without question. But sweet dark chocolate, we'll say rich, decadent, fudgy chocolate. Marshmallow. Very peppery / sweet bourbon. I've said you can't smell sweetness. Rainier Parade, you can't smell sweetness. And the reason I say that is because you can't. Technically, you can. There's like 5 or 6 things you can't smell. Sweetness, sourness, bitterness, umami, all the whole nine. It's the perceived sweetness that I'm smelling. Like, I smell like it's, a lot of times you hear me say it smells like it's going to be sweet. You're not actually smelling sweetness. You're smelling a perceived sweetness. Doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Who cares? Just thought I would clarify. Deeply roasted malt. There's a little bit of like a nuttiness, almost like a hazelnut or like a pecan or something. Yeah, this smells exactly, it's bourbon. It's rich, fudgy chocolate, and it's marshmallow from the vanilla. Like, it's not overly complex, but this smells dynamite. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. delicious. Absolutely delicious. Really good. One thing that's freaking me out, though, it doesn't have much carbonation. Not much at all. Well, you know, you talk about lacing. Look at that lacing. Now, I do have condensation. It's been very humid outside. It was warm recently. It's not that warm today, obviously. I'm wearing a hoodie. But this was out of my darker beer fridge. And even at like 55 degrees or 57, 58, whatever it is now, has the condensation on it because it's humid. This is all right. So I forgot this was 14% drinking this, which is scary. Let's just start. Body. It's thick, for sure. Not as thick as I thought when it said double mashed. This is like medium to full body. It's thick, a little bit of syrup, kind of, nature to it, syrupy nature. Touch of like an oily, slick kind of feeling, but not like super big. 14%, I'd say more like 12. Whatever, it's fine for me. The mouthfeel is where it's kind of weird because it has a very, very mild carbonation, a skosh of carbonation. It's almost flat. It almost is devoid of any carbonation. But that's all right for something like this because it's infinitely smooth and creamy because of that, right? There's no carbonation. It glides down the palate, smooth, creamy. I like that. I do wish there's a little bit more carbonation if I'm being honest though. So body and mouthfeel are really nice, just not spectacular. The taste is simplistic yet delivers on exactly what I want. I say this a lot. The bourbon hits me on the back of the palate. This is one of the rare times where I'll say front to back, I'm getting a sweet peppery bourbon. It has caramel, almost a little bit of like a toffee. It's again, that peppery kind of spicy, almost rye-esque kind of feel to it, like they're using a rye whiskey, even though I think they would clarify if that was the case. And then the oak kind of hits on the back of the palate where it has that oak kind of tannin dryness. But along with that bourbon presence is a lot of fudgy, dark chocolate that is both rich and decadent yet sweet, front to back as well. And about halfway through the palate is where the vanilla kicks in. And it's probably the Madagascar vanilla in combination with the barrel. And it's giving me marshmallow vibes. So it's almost like you're 2/3 of a s'mores. If they added graham cracker to this would be like one of the best s'mores Imperial Stouts, bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stouts I've ever had. As is, it's just a beautiful, rich, decadent chocolate, marshmallow, chocolate, vanilla Imperial barrel aged Stout. It delivers on everything that I wanted it to deliver on. The issue I have is the body and mouthfeel aren't spectacular, and it is a bit simplistic for a 14% beer. There's underlying like deeply roasted malt. There's a little bit of like that nuttiness, like a hazelnut pecan. It's all underlying. Finishes bone dry. This is very dry. A mild bitterness, more of like an oak tannin dryness as far as the dryness character is concerned. The beauty about this is it's not overly sweet. Like it definitely is rich and decadent and sweet, but that dryness really does balance it out. And after each sip, I don't feel sick to my stomach. Like a lot of pastry Imperial Stouts, whether barrel aged or not, after about 2 or 3 sips, I'm like, all right, I can feel it's going to build up. And about 4 or 5 ounces in, I'm not going to whine more. That is not an issue here. It's very tasty. I could see some people drinking this and not being overly impressed by it just because it is quite simplistic, lacks carbonation. But if you're somebody who doesn't mind that lack of carbonation, doesn't need a super thick and sticky body to it, and you're okay with them delivering on what they said, I get the bourbon. I definitely get the vanilla in the form of marshmallow, and then the base beer is fudgy chocolate, some nuttiness, and a couple other nondescript things, maybe a little bit of like a dark fruit, but this is tasty. Not my favorite barrel-aged beer of all time or anything, but this is really good, and I'm glad I picked it up. So Boot Quench, the 2024 vintage from Hoof Hearted. Who did fart? Oh, wait, you're saying it's Hoof Hearted? I was going to make that joke, and by joke, I mean I just try to enunciate. I don't know. I'm going to give this a low 4.5. I'll go 4.4. Better body and mouthfeel. This is 4.5, 4.6 all day. But as is, I like the flavor. It hides the alcohol extremely well. I can't even tell it's close to 4. This is like 10, 11%, like at the most, based on what I'm drinking. It's wild how well it holds up as far it hides the alcohol. I will say this is 8 months old. I wonder how this was like, a month or two old. I'd imagine the vanilla is probably a little bit more intense, which is hard to imagine. But I don't know if like maybe it lost a little bit of carbonation. Maybe it wasn't that carbonated to begin with. I don't know. Price point availability, I paid $10.99 for that can at the aforementioned Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio. Less than $1 an ounce by $5. I'm okay with that. Again, I like to talk about like the cans versus the bottles. If you saw this in a 500 milliliter bottle, which is 16.9 fluid ounce can, or a 16.9 fluid ounce bottle, this is 16 fluid ounce can, so it'd be 0.9 fluid ounces more. If you saw that and it was like $15, you'd be like, oh, it's a good deal. It's less than $1 an ounce, whatever. For some reason, there's a negative connotation with barrel-aged beers in cans. Like people see it and be like, wow, it's $10 a can. But if it was in a bottle, you wouldn't think twice. So I think it's a good price point. $11 for essentially a 16 fluid ounce can, bottle, vessel, all day, every day. Availability, I have no idea with Hoof Hearted. We used to see their stuff occasionally here in Buffalo, New York, but it would come from, they would get contract brewed. I forget where, someplace in like Rhode Island or New Hampshire. We would never see the stuff straight from Marengo. But whenever I'm in Ohio and I head up Red Wine and Brew or another place, they always have the Marengo brewed stuff and I always try to buy some. So you should be able to find this one if you can find the Marengo brewed Hoof Hearted beers. Of course, this was 2024 vintage. Probably is not on the shelf anymore. So if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. Again, I think it pretty much delivers on what it is. Wish the body and mouthfeel were a little bit better, and I would give it a higher rating, but a 4.4 out of 5 is a fantastic score. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.